this cork, you can actually use it to cork wine. So if you got wine bottles or Twisted Sisters wine, which you should be drinking, you can take this and you can use it to recork your bottles. Ooh-wee. That's delicious. My name is Jason Rigel, and my company, one of my companies, is Guidance Whiskey. We are a premium small batch whiskey that is distilled in Iowa. We've been in the market for about 2 years, but we've been working on it for about 4. Before you even get to the bottle, before you even get to the actual thing that you're holding, there was a year of going back and forth with the distillery, trying to come up with the right, the right formula, the right taste that we wanted. There's trying to find a label, there's trying to decide on a bottle. So it's a birthing process, and you have no idea how it's gonna come out. When you put something in a barrel, it's in a barrel. It's in there until you pour it out, and then you actually see what you get. So I say it's like children, because then once it gets here, you got to nurture it, you got to help it grow, you got to teach it, you got to learn more, you got to learn on the job as a parent. And with this industry, I've learned more in the last 2 years about my own product than in the 2 years that we were creating it. So it's always a growing process, and if you come into it like that, it'll help you, that mindset will help you absorb some of those bumps and bruises as learning experiences, instead of just getting you down like, hey, I don't ever want to do this again. Growing up in Alabama, we've been drinking a long time, but having my own whiskey, I was director of marketing for a healthcare facility out in California. And the budget that we spent a year on entertainment was through the roof. What we spent on just alcohol was even more outstanding. So I'm like, hey, wait a minute. We hosting all these events. We spent $150,000 on liquor a year for one practice? Oh, come on. That's the entrepreneur in me that said there's got to be a way to get some of this rev share. The main thing is you looking at my savings account. That's the number one thing. We put the money up. Like, we put our own bread. That's the number one. We took a chance on us, and we bet on us. And that anybody can come along after you've already done something and take it to another level, which is a great thing. But you have different pride when you see it come from the ground. So I think the number one thing that we did is we put up all the money ourselves for the process. Twisted Sisters is a wine that's created by 4 ladies currently living in Nashville. Unfortunately, one of them passed away last year, but they created, their first offering that launches in December is gonna be a barreled aged blend red, which is, you ain't never seen that before. So the innovation that comes out of people when they get a chance to do something they never done before is amazing. That's the culture, right? So you got Twisted Sisters wine, you have Canapa Fiore, Fiore vodka, which is coming. That's from a young man named Clarence, who's originally from Tennessee as well. But his vodka's coming. We got Reverence Bourbon. That'll be one of your first Tennessee bourbons. That's coming from one of my frat brothers. And we're working with some guys out of Texas. We have about 7 other things that are in the hopper right now, but 2021 is gonna be, it's gonna explode. It is TSU homecoming in a bottle, man. Like, when you crack this bottle, we were to crack this bottle right now, the conversation would go back to college, it would go back to high school, everybody in the room would start joining in, and I guarantee you in an hour this bottle will be gone. And that's what our flavor is. The flavor of friendship. It's the flavor of camaraderie. It's the flavor of stories. And it just, I mean, it tastes like history in the making, actually. You know what I mean? We get so many people that I love being around them when they taste it for the first time because they think they know whiskey. Or they do know whiskey, right? They know what they've had, they know what they've been told, and so they have an expectation. And the first time that they take that they be waiting for the burn, they wait for it, right? Because you know it's coming, that's whiskey. And then it don't come, and you see their face go. And they look like, this you? This you right here? Oh man, and then they get excited about it. And so that's one of my favorite parts about Guidance. So Guidance is $50 in the store, right? It's $50 in the store. We want people to get a chance to experience it in all kinds of ways. So you might not go out and just, like, if you don't know something, you might be like, I don't want to spend $50. That's a stretch. And in the pandemic, we couldn't do as many tastings. We love doing tastings. When they opened up, we did 27 tastings in the last 45 days when Tennessee opened up, because we were like, hey, if we can get you to taste it, the quality is in the product and it speaks for itself. But if I can't get you to taste it that way, well, I know you got to eat, right? I know you like desserts. I know we try to infuse ourselves into everyone's life. We come at you some type of way. So if you a chicken and waffle, guess what? There's places you can go eat the waffle. They done poured the Guidance in the batter that makes the waffles. Oh, you like fruit, and okay, we gonna make some Guidance sauce for your fruit that you can drink. We got Guidance lollipops. I mean, you think about it, we touch it, but then also that gives us a chance to show love to the businesses that are showing love to us. Because if you go on our page, you see just as much about other businesses as you see Guidance. And that was something that in marketing they told me not to do. The same way they told me not to make a 2-year whiskey and make it 80 proof. I needed to be 6 years. I needed to be 100 proof. I needed to be us. And so we're gonna continue to collaborate. You were laughing earlier, like you ain't got Guidance shoes. As we talk right now, there's a lady that has a shoe company, and she's creating the Guidance logo on a pair of shoes. We don't stop. So yeah, our Guidance cigars, which actually just launched this weekend, is one of those collaboration projects, man. Southern Gentleman Cigar Company had approached me earlier in the year, and they had just been introduced to Guidance. And they do a lot of blends for the big houses. You know, they do Blanton's, they do Buffalo Trace. They make their infused cigars. And they wanted to try a new technique for Guidance. And so I gave them a bottle of Guidance and forgot about it. 4 months later, Stu comes up to me and says, here go your cigar. Now, I was once a quarter cigar smoker. I wasn't a avid cigar smoker, but it was so good. It was so good that I was like, man, y'all got something. I said, so how do we mass produce these? He said, well, you got to ship us some of your barrels. So we shipped them some of our Guidance barrels, and this inaugural run, I think they're doing 2,000 sticks. We polled about 40 different cigar smokers, owners of cigar lounges, and just people who've been in the cigar business for a long time. Because one thing when you're doing business, man, there's one thing about being innovative, but then there's also the business side. So with Guidance and anything that we put out stuff that'll sell. It has to sell, because if it sells, then we can continue to put out more stuff. Now we want to get to the space where, 5-10 years from now, we just put something out for the fun of it. But even when we were looking to create this, the one thing that we went for was drinkability, right? Because if you don't, you cut yourself off of a market. So even in our sticks, we got 3 different blends. We got a Barber Pole, we got a Habano, and we got a Churchill. Those are 3 different three different types of sticks, 3 different type of flavor profiles. So we touch everybody. And so yeah, these are amazing. They actually come in these tubes, which actually helps hold in the flavor. But then even better than that, a lot of people don't have humidors. You see what I'm saying? I didn't grow up having a humidor. And if you don't put it back in the tube, if you don't have somewhere to put your stick, even if you wait a long time to smoke it, because you're like, I'm gonna celebrate this, I'm getting a job promotion in 2 weeks or 3 months or whatever, you can save. Or my baby gonna be born, you know, I'm having a baby in 4 months. I thought about everything, not just for the pros, but also for the novices. So you can actually take this cigar, you can smoke half of it, stick it back in this cap, and it'll preserve it.